Hi everyone, I am Filipe Freire. This is a re-recording of a talk I gave last year in 2017 about Tacit. I'll skip the intro part a bit, mostly because this is outdated, but also everything that you might be curious about me, I will leave in the I will leave it in the video description. And let's just go ahead and talk about Tacit. So Tacit is a fully open source CSS framework. Back then, the logo was a recent addition. Currently, it's the logo of Tacit. Tacit was initially created by a known Java programmer called Igor Bugayenko. And its numbers, for example, are also different in terms of contributors. Currently, I'm also one of the main maintainers, so to speak. So if you decide to create a pull request or an issue, feel free. I'll probably be the first person to try and help you out to solve the issue or to get the pull request merged. And those of you who are familiar with CSS frameworks, uh, while you're watching this video, you might be wondering, so it's a CSS framework, so what's so special about this one compared to say another CSS framework? I mean, every day or every once in a while we hear about this new CSS framework that is coming out, and there's multiple CSS frameworks with different purposes in mind. But if you look at Tacit's purpose, uh, it's very clear. It's for dummies who just want their web services, say, or their static pages to look attractive. But these are also people who have zero skills in graphic design and CSS, and people who don't want to go around CSS and create their own rules. They just want something that they can use that will make their web pages look a bit more attractive without having to do a lot of custom work using boilerplate code or code that is available by other CSS frameworks. And it's also simple to work with because you just need to include it in your HTML file, and that's it. That's done. You don't need to add any attributes to your elements, to our HTML elements, define any sort of CSS classes. That's about it. So let's go ahead and see a demo. The code for this demonstration is available also in my GitHub in this link. Okay, so in here we have a normal HTML file, and it has everything you'd expect in a typical HTML file. So it has body section with an article inside, a few paragraphs inside a blog quote, for example. Also has a list of items, and it has a form. And inside this form, we have a few typical inputs that you'll normally see in an HTML form. Some select with options and inputs with radio buttons and buttons. Okay, but this is just a typical HTML file. It has, I'm not including here any sort of CSS file. Okay, now I have the same page with Tacit include in this case from CDN, and I also tried out with skeleton CSS at a different page, and another one with bootstrap CSS, just to have term of comparison. Okay, so this first page is the original one. As you can see, it looks very without a style, so to speak. The form looks without style. I mean, it is working, but in terms of style, it could be better in terms of how it looks. Now, if I just include Tacit, for example, on the same HTML page, you can see that visually I didn't add any CSS rules whatsoever, and visually it looks different. It looks out of the box. Just by including the CSS file, it looks better. And I'm not manipulating adding any attributes in terms of class. Now, for terms of comparison, when I do the same and I include Bootstrap, for example, it still looks good, but it looks better than the original, than normal HTML, but it doesn't look as good, for example, as Tacit in terms of finished look. Because with Bootstrap, for example, you'd still have to for example, add a lot of rules to your HTML elements in order for it to look better. Because that's the way Bootstrap works. And with skeleton CSS, for example, it's the same. It looks better than just plain HTML, but it would still make you have to do a lot of work by yourself using what the framework, so to speak, provides you with, right? And this is totally different with Tacit. With Tacit, you don't have to worry about adding more rules to a class of elements. Okay, so thank you for watching. If you need more info, I will leave it in the description. You can also follow me on GitHub, on Twitter, and the rest of my social media. Thank you for watching. Also, I just want to leave a big shout out to the Porto Codes community. If you are ever in Porto and if you know that there is a meetup for Porto Codes, I would recommend you to show up. It's a very good meetup for people who enjoy learning and discussing various topics in programming. Thank you.